Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all those clever enough to transcend gender.
Yeah, we've sold about 60 tickets so far, and there's loads more people who have told us that they're coming down anyway, to get tickets on the night. So, if there's people, there's people.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we plan to take you on a journey of discovery and get the straights back into the good path of the homosexual. We have taken actual ex-gay testimonials from online and we have plagiarized them for ourselves.
In any given area can be pansexual if they want to be. Did you know that? 3,000% of all queer people said being queer is just like better and kind of hotter. Now, Dick, you yourself have been a victim of the heteronormative agenda. If it isn't too painful for you to share with the group, can you let the good people know here what is going on?
So basically we've taken like testimonials and stuff from Americans. It's usually Americans because that's where most conversion therapies take place in America. And flipped them. So it's kind of been funny to like see the difference in the way the sentence even sounds. Like, you know, no one's born straight. You have your chance to salvage yourself and live a life of gaydom. It's just like, it's weird. How alien that sounds.
I had a mortgage. I have a child. And I have
It's okay, Dick. You can tell.
I'm a real sick.
That's right, folks. A real fucking But with the power of the queer, Dick broke free of his routine of heteronormativity by becoming an emotionally available parent and having as much filthy sex as possible.
In the crowd on a Sunday night in Union Street. And Tina Lake's Tantrum pointed me out in the crowd and was like, "Who is that drag queen? Who is that?" And I was like, "It's me!" The name, Electra, comes from an album by Marina and the Diamonds called Electra Heart. My kind of main influences in terms of style would be like Club Kids, Lee Bowery, like kind of bigger, huge, unreal kind of fashion that does not make sense. I would contest that I've been a drag queen since I was a little boy. So I was always like singing along to numbers from Sister Act, putting on little shows and performances for my family. So it was like 11 o'clock at night when everyone was getting ready for bed and I'm still sitting there with my earphones and just going, I hope no one opens the door. And then Pride came. And I was on the back of the boombox float in a wedding dress while it was raining, like a monsoon. And there's Mummy and Daddy just feet away from me, marching in the parade, along with the family dog. And I was like, well, there's there's no better chance than now to say it's me. So I started waving. My mum was just like, and I was like, no. My mum was like, I see you, but I don't know why you're waving at me. So I just kept waving and was like, it's me. And then my mum turned to my dad, started gibbering away to him, and my dad for some reason just like lifts up the dog, and I was like, that's my dog. No problems with that. The next week I was coming down and of course she's going, okay Molly, you're gonna have to like pull this and you're gonna have to pull it really tight. So yeah, go over. My dad is sitting in the corner watching TV. Just that was life. My steamer kept fucking the fuses last night, so there's like all these split ends and I'm just like, I don't care. I used to build since nursery school. There was all these like different names that people would have for me. Not that I'll get into them, but it was just like constant teething because I was the other. I was just different. A guy who lived around the corner who also went to my primary school, he would like call me like, oh, there's the actor, because I was so like flamboyant that they like thought that this was like an insult to me. It's weird. I kind of view it as like a baptism of fire, because there is nothing that anyone can do or say to me that I have not heard before, that I have not been through before, that is going to affect me, because I lived through that in some of the most vulnerable years of my life, and here I am today still being mouthy and still being me. So you can say what you like, but it's not going to change, and that has been a defining factor of everything that I've done. For me, drag is inherently political in what it does, so I'm of the opinion that if you are a drag king, queen or other, if you do drag, that you do have a little bit of responsibility to make it worthwhile.
Has been questioned by none other than Jim in an article in the Belfast yesterday. He called me sick, disgusting, and twisted because in Pride 2016, I wore a tiara coated in HIV positive blood as a symbol of defiance against the stigma built around HIV positive.
I'm going to speak at the alternate queer Ulster event at Stormont, where basically 20 queers have been picked, applied to be picked to speak on a topic that they believe that isn't being talked about at the minute. And I will be speaking on the topic of stop asking for acceptance, because I'm of the belief that bigoted people are not interested in changing their minds, so why should we sit down and grant them access to our lives, our stories, when they're uninterested, and they're more than likely going to turn around and say that we are disgusting, vile individuals.
nervous, but it's easier because like I've got my war paint on, so I'm good. It's kind of like that, but it's just something else kind of like takes over. A little heightened sense of self where you're kind of like, that's what's like getting into drag. This is not about me. This is about everyone. Like, this has already become about me, and it's not good for the trans person who has never been heard before. You know, it's not good for people like that who are, again, that kind of the layers of privilege. So I don't want it to be hijacking it myself.
Our current politicians should just get back to work. Get back to work. That's the message. Just get back into Stormont and get doing what you should be doing. But if your intention is to go back to the way things were in Stormont, then you are not on my side. As a queer person in Northern Ireland, you're not for me. Because I do not want to go back to 5 petition of concerns in a row that blocks equal marriage. And don't get me wrong, equal marriage for me is not the be all and end all of LGBTQ rights in Northern Ireland. Like, what about our schools? What about our education system? What about trans rights?
I refuse to ask for acceptance from those who oppress us. When the Belfast Telegraph asked me to comment on me being here this evening, I told them that their publications of Nelson McCausland's homophobic and transphobic rants were the reason that I was not associated with that newspaper, and refused to comment. Once again asked for a comment rather boldly from the Belfast Telegraph, and I said, no! You will not use my words to profit homophobia and transphobia, and you will not use my story for that either. This was a perfect example of a hand that reaches out to us and telling us, yes, I accept your lifestyle, tell me your story, only for it to be used against us. Acceptance isn't good enough anymore. Acceptance is an admission that something is wrong. Like we're people that you have to put up with to be tolerated. Saying you're very accepting of the community means that it meets your approval, which, darling, I don't need.
Queer for me is an umbrella term that encompasses anyone in the LGBT community who does not fit the ordinary standards that are imposed upon them in the LGBT community as a whole. And I'm a lot more at ease with being both Declan and Electra at the same time, whereas about 4 years ago I would have been very much like, no, I need to keep both of them separate, very private. No one can, I would not have been doing this like this, I would have been in drag, because that's the only thing that matters, and if you're talking to me about drag, that I need to present as that. Whereas I now know that they're both that they are the same person.
We're not going shopping! We're here! We're queer! We're not going shopping! We're here! We're queer! We're not going shopping!
Bigots refuse to change their mind and instead prefer hate over love, and I will not engage with those people any longer. If you lack the compassion that your religious ideology states that you have, but instead focus on spreading hatred under that religion, then you are unworthy of my time. You don't deserve to be coached, and you don't want to be. We as a community must understand that. Once we start grasping that concept of who is actually on our side, then we will realize how far there is still to go. To the femboys who are too fruity for the toxic masks, to the bisexuals who are told to pick one or the other, to the non-passing trans people who don't want surgery or can't afford it, to the pansexuals uninterested in equal marriage, you don't need to validate yourself to a prejudiced world. You don't need to ask for acceptance. What has happened to me over the past few days has not weakened my nerve and my determination for social change and justice. The papers have labelled this event as a drag queen event, which is an absolute insult to the queer voices of all those people speaking this evening. Queer alternative Ulster cannot be hijacked by bigots, and it should not be. I still stand here, willing to fight for those who are oppressed in our community and speak out for them, and I will not be silenced, and I will not beg of those who oppress us to accept us any longer. We do not need the approval of bigots. We are defiant. We are queer.